And we are live here Sunday morning, Super Bowl Sunday morning. Jimmy Pilato with me from far end of the bench. I am Daren Breyer, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. Here again, we're down to it. We're down to the final two episodes here of season 2, talking the gridiron, and we've made it all the way to Super Bowl Sunday as well. Jimmy Pilato, how we doing out there, sir, Sunday morning?
It is definitely the day of the Super Bowl. I'm excited for everything that goes along with it. I'm excited that I no longer have to, not waste time because I love watching football, but it does. It takes up a lot of the weekend. I really just – here's the good thing. Over the past however many years that I've been broadcasting, I feel like I've always gotten the best teams in the championship. Going all the way back into college. And I do think that this is true for today. Does that mean that I'm excited that both these teams are in? Hell no. I wanted Detroit to play Kansas City. I'm not that I hate the 49ers, but just like, come on, give me something a little bit different this time. No, I'm excited. It's going to be a great game. I think it'll be, obviously it's been really successful being in Vegas. I don't know what you've heard from the people that you like, the people that you listen to throughout media, but like they're all super excited about how this has gone. And Vegas is going to be in the rotation forever now. And maybe that'll just be where they decide this is where the Super Bowl gets played. And I'm good with that because I'll go out to Vegas.
About the Vegas once in a while. No doubt there is part of that. I feel like Vegas is taking over the sports world a little bit, taking all my teams. I know that for sure. Jordan Maxson, can you hear us out there?
Yes, sir.
How we doing out there? Super Bowl Sunday, my friend. We got Niners. We got Chiefs there in Vegas, as Jimmy mentioned. Big day here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited for the Niners. As a Bengals fan and AFC fan, I'm definitely not rooting for the Chiefs today. So I'm Tyler and company over there in the West Coast will be happy to hear I'm pro 49ers today.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
As much as I talked about it, I am rooting for the 49ers. I may have made a different pick, but I'm rooting for the 49ers because, God, it just sucks so bad to have to say I want Patrick Mahomes to win. And I don't really want him to win.
Nobody, I think, wants to. If you're Chiefs fans, come in. We'll take it. Rip on us. We're here for it. We all know we're all big boys. We can't.
You're too busy crying. You're too busy crying and waiting for Taylor's next album to come out.
Speaking of Tyler, with Niners fans, he'll make a little appearance here in a little bit when we get to the Niners part of it. So we'll get his takes on it. Boys, we've been on a journey this year. Like I said, Jimmy, before we get into that, though, you've been a busy man this week. You want to shout out some boys there real quick?
Yeah, boys and girls. So Colorado has adopted girls wrestling into the high school athletics over the past couple of years, and I coach at Castleview High School. We had our regional tournament yesterday. Went in with, I think, 11 wrestlers, or maybe even less than that. It was like 9 wrestlers total or something, and we qualified 7 for our state tournament. So Zarette Silva Lopez at 125, Brianna Robles at 130, Mimi Emiliana Mendoza is at 170. Then we have Carter Lawson at 106, Colin McInnes at 113. He's a 2-time qualifier. Caden Ontiveros, who took second in the region yesterday and is ranked in the top 5 of the state at 144. And there was one. Yes, Tucker Mahoney, another senior. So we had all of our seniors this year qualify for the state tournament. It's just obviously if you watch our show at VOTB Pod, I love wrestling as much as I love football, and that was my thing. I watch wrestling nonstop. I go to wrestling tournaments on Saturdays all day, and then I come home and watch college wrestling duels at night.
Folks, that's why he's an offensive lineman. Folks, that's why we get him on Talking the Gridiron, talking this stuff. He's in the trenches with it. Jordan will jump back on here in a minute. So congratulations to those wrestlers out there. Congratulations, Coach Jimmy out there far into the bench. Be sure to check out that show. You guys had another good show this week as well, previewing the Super Bowl and getting into wrestling there with it. All right, let's get to the Super Bowl here now. Let's get to it. It kicks off today, my time, 3:30, 6:30 Eastern time out there. Super Bowl 58, like you said, in Vegas. I don't know, Brock Purdy and 49ers set to face Mahomes, the Chiefs, Super Bowl. Kind of initial thoughts kind of when you see this matchup.
It's strange the way that the things have worked out, the serendipity from 2020, the fact that it's the same 2 teams, the same 2 coaches that are going against each other.
Yeah.
My initial thoughts, which coach is going to be able to stay out of their own way, because I said it on our show. I think Andy Reid has kind of cost the Chiefs a Super Bowl in his time. You know that they've been there forever, but that game against Tampa Bay, all they had to do was run the damn football, blindside it, have some woman call them from the stands as Andy, run the damn ball, because they're putting their linebackers at 7, because guess what? All we do is throw it deep. So we might as well switch it up and run every now and then. So which coach is going to stay out of their own way? Obviously, I don't have to talk about Kyle's 28-3, but John, if you're been listening, you know, it is there. He does have a history of this kind of thing. It's going to be a great game, but it's going to be so different than the one that we saw in 2020, because the 49ers, I would say, are built fairly similar. You could say that they upgraded their quarterback position. I'm not here to argue about Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. I know who's better out of those two. I'm not that delusional. But the Chiefs defense this year adds another wrinkle, because last time that they played, it was the 49ers defense that was standing above all. And guess what? I know he was an offensive coordinator. What about the Super Bowl? That's what we're talking about now. 10 points. But they've upgraded. My issue is the Chiefs, Spagnuolo, can you hold them under 17 points? If they get held to 17 or fewer, they lose pretty easily in San Francisco.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, Jimmy, as we kind of start to focus on the game here a little bit in preview. It's funny, me and you always do post games, right? I feel like that's all we're doing. We're just reacting to games most of the time. So it's kind of one of the rare ones. Me and you, like the one game a year, where me and you actually preview the game a little bit. So as we kind of touch on that, we're looking ahead to things. I kind of like what you said about the Chiefs. So let's go to them for their keys to the game here. You mentioned Spagnuolo and the blitzes there. It'll be interesting because of Purdy, and he hasn't thrown the ball well so far in these first 2 playoff games. He's had moments of it for sure where he's thrown the ball well, but it hasn't been consistent. And then the Niners run defense against Pacheco, I mean, that worries me a little bit. And we'll get Tyler's thoughts on here when we get the Niners keys to the game. But and then you have the Chiefs that are just, I don't know, they have this magic, right, that they have within. I'm not sure if the Niners can just double Kelcie or what the strategy will be, but because Mahomes can extend plays. But what do you kind of see are the main keys to the Chiefs getting out of here with back-to-back Super Bowls?
I think it relies heavily on Pacheco. It's Isaiah Pacheco, and he's going to help out in so many other ways. It's not that you're expecting him to have a 200-yard Terrell Davis performance and win Super Bowl MVP, but he needs to be involved because, A, you're going to run the clock faster. Let's be honest, if these two offenses are out on the field for 45 minutes, who would you have more faith in scoring and winning? Probably San Francisco, right? They're going to be the offense that scores more points in a shortened amount of time. So Isaiah Pacheco, control the clock, wear down this defense, don't allow these pass rushers to get going. They didn't. That's been the key so far in the halves that they've lost in the playoffs. But that also will help them with their offensive line, because Kansas City's offensive line isn't up to what it has been in the past. But you know what really helps that out? And I just had to relive it because one of my damn podcasts wanted to do a Super Bowl 56 replay. It's a Bengals podcast. They're like, let's relive. It was the best time. I was like, I really don't want to, because you know why? Joe Mixon didn't get the football in the second half. They didn't run the football in the second half, and we lost that game. So I would think that the Chiefs run the damn football. If Andy Reid wants to go out there and pretend like he has Tyreek Hill still with Rasheed and some of these other weapons, it's going to be a long day.
You mentioned also the Chiefs defense. We're going to get into predictions here in a little bit here, that it's kind of starting to swing a little bit for me. And I'm going to get my guy Tyler on here as we kind of go into Niners keys of the game here. And we'll kind of, as we get to that with it. Tyler McGurk, how we doing out there? Sunday morning TMB podcast, Fat Boy Fadeaway podcast. We'll be doing a little bit. You've kind of been on hearing us a little bit talk about the Chiefs keys to the game. Where do you kind of sit? I kind of put it on, as I posted on an X, I put it as Niners nerves, a little bit of what Jimmy said with the Shannahan angle of it. You guys have lost the last 2 Super Bowls. I mean, you as a Niners fan haven't really seen this Super Bowl success. You kind of remember this, I guess, this 1 in 95 barely. What are you kind of like as you look into this game? Where's the nerves knowing you have Mahomes, Reid, Kelcie? I mean, where are you at with this? And you lost 4 years ago.
The nerves are at an all-time high. He's coming off 0-2. We're 0-2 in the Super Bowl in my lifetime. I mean, we had 95, but don't really count that one. You have the best quarterback in the game in Mahomes. You have one of the great coaches. Yes, he has gotten in the way at times, and he will get in the way at times. And Andy Reid, but excellent game planner on offense. And the 49ers defense has left a lot to be desired in these playoffs. Against the Packers, they were okay, but the rain assisted in that. And against the Lions in the first half, they were a sieve. They couldn't stop the run, and I think you guys bring up a good point in Patick. He's definitely the guy who is the key to the Chiefs winning this game, and the guy the Niners need a key on.
Are you more nervous about him then? Is that what you're telling us? Is that who
No,
you're
absolutely. With the way that Gibbs and David Montgomery lit up our offense, yeah, Pacheco he's been a beast all year. And he just runs so hard. He looks smaller or bigger or smaller than he really is. That's a big guy. So that leaves a lot to be concerned. The matchup that I do like is actually, which has been like the Chiefs defense. They can't stop the run either, which is a good thing with the Kyle Shanahan offense. And they do blitz a lot, and the Niners have lit up blitzes this year. If you look at Purdy's number against the blitz, he's like completing 71 passes with like 100 or 71% of his passes with like 126 QB rating. So I think the Niners offense matches up well against this Chiefs defense. So I think the keys obviously blocking Chris Jones, stopping Isaiah Pacheco, and just getting the ball out on time.
Snead has been pretty good this playoffs for the Chiefs. So like, I'm guessing he'll be on IU most of the time. What do you think? You think he'll be on IU?
Both those corners are legit. They have two legit
Their
cornerbacks who play physical and can match up with these wide receivers.
The whole secondary.
And that, Jimmy, that's where I'm a little concerned, like I'm having a hard time picking this game, and I kind of put it as my next note here with this. Like, I feel like we're talking about we think Mahomes, we think the Niners offense, but I think there is a world where it is a low scoring game. I'm not saying 10-7 or something crazy like that, but if it's 21-17, I'm just saying, would anybody be – I'm just saying that the defenses in a game like this, players can get tight. Maybe coaches play it safe a little bit. I am curious as this plays out. Is it going to be right away a shootout, or do both defenses kind of step up a little bit? The Niners, though, Jimmy, I feel like they've kind of had this reputation of a defense, but as Tyler's seen, we kind of seen it drop off a little bit, it seems like, but they still make some big plays here or there.
It's the secondary, because it happened so long ago that it's easy to forget. But Hufanga not being in San Francisco's defensive backfield, that's going to be because it's the safeties that mess with Patrick Mahomes. So the safeties, not having one of those guys in there, that's going to be a really uphill battle. But I don't think that either team is going to walk away from the other. 10 points was I believe it was the highest deficit that either team faced in the last matchup. And I think that it's very likely to be similar, if not even closer this time. But yeah, 21-17.
That's
at the moment. I think that it is going to be a knockdown, drag out defensive struggle. Whoever is going to, it's just going to be who's going to cover their warts quicker, because it's not necessarily about who does what well fast. It's who can actually overcome the things that they know they aren't very good at. And I'm interested to see if Shannahan, I listened to Mark Schlereth, and he has a special relationship with the Shanahans, and he was talking about Kyle being a high school receiver when he was playing for the Broncos, but just it wasn't necessarily Kyle, but it was Mike that he was talking about. Mike has just this way of sitting there for hours on end and analyzing and going over and finding new things, and he passed that on to Kyle. Kyle's a very smart guy, and I'm sure that he sat there in a dark room. It doesn't really get dark in Santa Clara. That's the bad thing. California, how are you mad ever? It's such nice weather. Just sitting in the bright sunshine on the beach, just sitting there for hours watching Andy Reid film, like back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Steve Spagnuolo, back, forth. Yeah, I know how to do this. He's like Rain Man. He dropped the toothpicks. 78.
Did you think that what was it? I saw it was going around the Twitter that was it Shannahan maybe had a little liquid courage at a Monday night at the thing, rolling some of the S's. I heard. I thought that was kind of funny to hear. Like, what do you have, a little daiquiri coming into the Vegas? Do they have the daiquiris there? You can just grab. I'm sure you could get one easily there. Sounded Tyler. It was nice and relaxed there.
One of those daiquiris around the deck. Yeah, at least he's not. I mean, I appreciate that more than the uptight Kyle. We normally get him post-game and pre-game interviews. He's normally gives you nothing. So it's kind of a relief to see him let loose a little bit.
Purdy.
What's he gonna look like after the? He's gonna look like Nikita Kucherov after the game. This is number one bullshit. Kyle, you're not Russian. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm so drunk, I forgot.
That would be great if we did get like a little coach's interview like that, but they have to have a couple of glasses before they get in there just to get real talk with them and everything. All right, so Tyler, those are some of your keys to the game with the Niners. With it, we talked about your defenses. All right, before I let you go here, I'll see you Fat Boy Fadeaway in a little bit here. Kind of give me and Jimmy your last thoughts here with the game here.
I mean, Niners need to go get this W. Make me a happy man. It'll be the greatest football season of my life. I just go Niners. I got 31-24 49ers. Purdy's MVP. Good show, guys. I'll check you guys out on the flip side. I'm Tyler McGurk with Variety Sports Network. Check Fat Boy Fadeaway out in about an hour.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys. Peace.
All right, CT. There. All right, Tyler, glad he could join with us a little bit there, giving his input on the Niners. Always appreciate that here, talking to
Gridiron. We were civil, too.
Yeah, very
he
civil.
And I were civil.
Yeah. We were. I think it must have been the morning. Right, 7 a.m. out here.
I'm so tired. Yeah.
We're not alive yet.
I'm not. My adrenaline hasn't woken up yet, so we're going down to so my brother got engaged recently, and they're going down to bridal show. The girls are. So my dad's like, well, what are the boys going to do? Well, Blackhawk, the casino is about 2 hours, an hour and a half maybe away. Okay. The game doesn't start till 4. We can be there. We can be there from like after this show. I'll start driving down there like 9 to 1. Come home, be ready for pregame. Might have a little bit of fun.
Game starts 4:30. You got an extra half an hour there, sir.
That's true.
There you go. You got
plus the national anthem is going to go over, like I said on our show. Reba's going to milk that thing, so it's really going to be like 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Reba, I'm like that. Yeah, Reba. I was thinking the same thing. I did that with my 7th and 8th grade boys. We were doing some of the fun like mocks, like what color is the Gatorade going to go out of? The pre-gaming wakes you up a bit. Yeah, a little pre-gaming does help a little bit there with it. 6:30 start Eastern time. It's a night game out there on the East Coast. A little mid. It's the rare one, right? You never get the 3:30 start, the 4:30 start. That never happens. So it's one of those rare things with it. Jimmy, question of the week here on that. Just give me your first Super Bowl memory that pops to your head, right? Do you have one that right away?
Oh yeah, it's the reason why I'm here, and the fact that the reason why we have far end of the bench. It's Super Bowl 32. It's the Broncos versus the Packers. Now I know even more about that game. So I was young. Obviously, I wasn't even born at that point. I was like maybe just born. But that was the main thing that everybody watched. And my dad used to buy all the end of season tapes.
Yep.
Yeah. But we used to get all the postseason tapes, and we got the one where it shows their Super Bowl championship. And I happened to play for this man in high school because he's the greatest high school football coach in Colorado, the state of Colorado's history. But Dave Logan, Elway dropped back, scrambling, looking. Now he decides he's going to run. Elway dives first. Oh, baby, he got it. You telling me he doesn't want to win this thing? And the Denver holds. Denver's going to win it. I fell in love with broadcasting. I fell in love with sports. This is what I've wanted to do ever since then. It's not even necessarily my team, but that was Dave Logan's so cool. Like that guy got me going, and I'm glad that I was able to. He's a mentor of mine. I can sit here and say that he's a mentor. He's had so many that will he remember my name or face? It's the same thing I say about Eckler. Yeah, I've met him. I shook hands with him. We're friendly, but is he good or not? Yeah, it's still cool. Still learned a ton from him.
No doubt. And that's kind of like, well, you're a teacher. You know how that works. You just hope that they might not ever remember you, but maybe a little impact, or you won't forget that.
Just don't curse me out, please.
Exactly.
Just don't curse me out.
That's a good memory. I do remember that watching that game at my grandparents' house, and that one, the Packers being denied.
Packers were 14-point favorites.
And they were going for back-to-back as well. Yep. This one's for John. That's what I remember the most about that one, that game at the end. But that was kind of that was always our famous little thing out here. That's right in that prime age. This one's for John. That was kind of a funny little thing there with it. So that's a good memory. I like that one. For me, it's not like something I totally remember. I just kind of remember like the Niners Broncos one, not watching it because I would have only been 6 at that time. But I just remember that being the first memory where it was kind of a big deal. Everybody got together. Everybody had the shirts. We were there was a lot of people there. Montana Rice. That's kind of the one that I kind of remember And then the Broncos, or then the Chargers Niners one also kind of stands out to me. And then the Titans Rams was the next kind of era. Those are like the three that kind of resonate the most as kind of growing up a little bit.
The Titans and Rams one is fun. I will say, Bengals might not have won a Super Bowl like Nico's Broncos, but at least Joe Montana didn't do the things to my team that he did to the Denver Broncos that day.
That's true.
Ours was close. They won on the last play of the game twice. He
Right.
didn't absolutely walk us backward and score 45 points or whatever it was. I remember that was the thing about the Broncos forever, was that they just got killed in every – I thought that they only won Super Bowls.
They did.
And then I watched the ones from the 70s and 80s, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not great, actually.
Yeah, I think that was like what they were known for, is Elway gets blown out in Super Bowls more than anything else. So that's why that
But he got him there.
Yep.
That's how good was John Elway really? I don't even know. I will never have the answer to that question.
He was good. He was good. He was kind of like, honestly, he kind of had like a little Mahomes in him, like just old, like could run had a great arm, could make wild plays.
Baseball player. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what I would say he was like a little bit, to be honest with you. He just had that, he kind of had that type of flair with him. That's my first, like one of my first memories was in '98 going to a Raiders. The Broncos, I think, were 8-0 that year, coming off and the Raiders will beat them in the regular season. I was like, yeah, it felt like a big win back then when you beat the Broncos there with Terrell Davis and that. So those are our memories with it. You got you got the announcers, enjoy the food out there, the commercials out there, see if there's any good ones with it. Chiefs going back to back. We don't need to spend all day on this, but just kind of like, I thought it's kind of as I was taking notes, getting ready for it, did come to my mind, like this does put them in a chance, Jimmy, to go in our lifetime, right? It goes in a little special history spot if they do win this one. So we'll see what they do.
It would
see if
be.
they can pull it out.
Yeah, I don't know how much faith I have in it. It would be impressive because nowadays it's harder to keep teams around. I would say that the Patriots in 03 and 04 were easy to keep all of their guys closer around. It would be impressive. I think that there's a whole bunch of things that change if they do end up winning. Like Kelce's on possible retirement watch. I would say Andy Reid's on possible retirement watch. Mahomes is going to have to figure out the next generation of this dynasty that he wants to create. I don't think that he's going to get – he's 28. He's not even 30. He's only 28. This guy's not going anywhere anytime soon. And you can hear the sadness in my voice as a Bengals fan. Like, I have Joe Burrow, and this is the enthusiasm that I have with Patrick Mahomes still being in my damn conference. Come on.
we have and he's in my division, so I have even more to worry about with them. I play him twice a year. Best chance, not even a good chance of getting to the playoffs. And even if we do, it probably won't ever be a home game. All right, let's get to it. Who you got? We kind of said who we want in some regards. Kind of who do you think? Who's holding that Lombardi trophy at the end of the day today? Probably around what we got. Probably around your time there. Probably around 8:30 Mountain Time. Well, who's holding that Lombardi trophy? Who's Jim Nantz interviewing? And who's Tony Romo going to be sucking up on to all night here? And giving comments too.
I don't need to answer the third one because we already know that he's well prepared. He's very well versed at taking care and finishing off Patrick Mahomes any chance that he can get. Yeah. I know that from firsthand, AFC Championship and beyond. I said on the show, I'm going to stick with my pick on the show just like I've done all year. On the far end of the bench, I picked the Chiefs, and I did it strategically because, if the Chiefs win, Nico can't pick the Chiefs because it's a division rival. So I'll win the playoff pick 'em. I'll have swept the pick 'em for the first time in our show with regular and postseason. I think that it's going to be the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs because I'm tired of being railroaded. I'm tired of being railroaded by this guy. Every time that I pick against him, I lose. So I'm either going to finally win and win everything, or if Patrick Mahomes loses, it's not like I'm going to be terribly upset. I get to sit there and be like, okay, cool. The AFC doesn't get another Super Bowl, and Kyle Shanahan went to my high school. So
it's funny that you put it that way. Like I feel like it's funny because we're both in like these weird situations with these teams. Like I don't think for me it's more I don't like the Chiefs a little bit from a fan standpoint, but then I have the Niners and I don't want all my friends to be that happy. Like at the same time, like I don't want that. I don't want
you can't
that
have your friends be happy.
Do I want Tyler to be that happy? Is that necessary for him to be that happy? Is that necessary for? So there is like this funny little like and as a Raiders fan, it's not like the Niners were the team you liked. Anyways, you wanted to beat them just as much as your division teams. So for me, it's kind of funny. I do think I don't know why I don't like the Niners being a 2-point favorite. There's something that kind of worries me, or that's what they were yesterday. Maybe it's been bedded down a little bit there.
It's the talent. That's a pure talent thing. Because we said it on our show. It is concerning, but this is it's the opposite of what we had in the last matchup, where the 49ers are very clearly the much more talented team. And the Chiefs are the ones that are trying to battle through all these injuries, and they're making up for things, and they're trying to replace players that they've lost from previous Super Bowl champions. This is now the opposite way. So that's the true reason why the Chiefs are not the favorites at this point. And Patrick Mahomes is undefeated as an underdog. So come on.
We got J-Bo radio show, if I'm saying that right. As a Ravens fan, I got to go against those damn Chiefs. Yes, I think a lot of us are kind of feeling that way against the Chiefs, but I think the Chiefs are hard to, like you said, bet against. It's really hard to bet against that trio.
If you bet against them, it's you don't like money if you bet against them right now.
Now, we have been talking, though, you even mentioned what those Broncos is going back-to-back is tough. They did do it. The Broncos did there, but it's something most teams fail at, right, is going back-to-back. So we'll kind of see if the Chiefs can overcome that. And that's, to me, why this is kind of it's a history measuring game in a sense. Like, they kind of get into that conversation and they start to get into this elite class that we might start thinking about if they win this one. And God forbid more State Farm commercials.
There's going to be so many State Farm commercials, and all of them are getting in on it. Maato, I don't think Maato's going to win Super Bowl MVP, but he will. I would like to not that I need to know everything that's going on here, but that embrace that he had with Swift after the game, I just want to know what was said, because some of the things that people are guessing that was said, I'm sitting there like, I don't know. It's kind of like when I look over my girlfriend's shoulder as she's reading, and I'm like, you can't have that out in public. What are you doing? You can't be saying those things.
You can't be doing that right now. It's like those funny ones where those guys are like talking to their girls, and you're like, and the girl's like, like you see that with it. That's kind of what it was going on with Mahomes on that one there. So, all right, so we got Super Bowl 58. We got the Chiefs went. They were Super Bowl champions in the third one. They were Super Bowl III champions. So they've come a long way here, folks. We're all the way to Super Bowl 58. A lot of red going to be out in Vegas today. A lot of red out there. Will be red Gatorade on the coach. We'll see what happens there with all those little fun prop bets.
I picked blue.
You picked blue as well. Jimmy went that. Be sure to check out Far End of the Bench before you check out the Super Bowl. They did a good job with the preview there. Also a little wrestling talk there as well. Jimmy said there on Far End of the Bench. We'll be on Fat Boy Fadeaway here in a little bit. I'm going to help out KC's win. I'm a room for San Francisco. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with San Fran. Better change your bets. Yeah, we might need to change it. It's going to be one of those games, though, that I think we are going to get a classic game, though, because I do think these teams aren't going to die easily. And that's the part, as we kind of wrap it up here, is the part I am looking the most forward to, Jimmy, is like these teams have the personalities where I'd be shocked if one team just folded over. I would really be shocked. So I expect it to be a close game.
There's never going to be any quit. You're too close. And both these teams have been close and lost Super Bowls. So I think that we're going to see probably one of the most desperate performances from both teams that we've seen in the Super Bowl recently.
Shanahan under the most pressure in this Super Bowl, the number one guy?
I think Shannahan followed by probably John Lynch. I mean, I don't think that they're not going to get rid of them, but they have been together now for 8 years, and they've been successful. They've also not been very successful at the start. And at some point, you got to get over the hump at some point.
Can't even bet on the money line for this game. I'm taking over on total points. Got to be a tight game. Nico is out there. What's Nico? Nico taking how many bets he got going on this weekend?
You want to know something ironic? This is the weekend of the Champ Series for the PLL, so he actually can't bet.
He can't. He's
in season.
Hey, that help. Hey, that's like one of those things where it helps if you have a problem right there. You can't do it. Does Pat Mahomes lose his GOAT status if he loses to Mr. Irrelevant? An excellent question. Excellent question by my guy out there. That's by Sports. What do you think about that one, Jimmy?
He's still got to win the Super Bowl to be on. He has not achieved GOAT status yet. He's on the path to GOAT status.
Is he at
If
ghost
he
status?
wins the Super Bowl, yeah. If he wins the Super Bowl, then he has the same amount as Brady within the same amount of time. Then I can start to. Then he's just continuing on that path. But I don't think he loses it. It's just going to be more difficult. But that's the. I hate. I saw one this morning, so now this is going to be a random tangent. I hate these dumbass videos of Tom Brady talking like he understands everything going on about the NFL today. Dude, shut up. The coaches are playing chess, but the quarterbacks just aren't. It's a different game, Tom. You wouldn't have played if you got drafted in 2020. You wouldn't have played in today's game.
No,
you would have never made the field, never even sniffed the sideline. So shut up and let these guys play. That's what I really want, and I think that these guys are going to put on. It's just going to be a show. That's all I want. That's what I told Nico. I want it to be entertaining. I want it to be a show, and yeah, let's all enjoy Usher at halftime. That's basically all I got.
I did have that go at the bottom at the ticker if you were following. I'm a big ticker guy, right? So I did have the Usher stats going there at the bottom there with it. Some of his best songs. If you care about that stuff.
We have a prop. I got a prop that I want to drop on you then. Do you think he's going to start with Is it going to be in the middle of his set or is he going to close with it?
I think he's going to go middle. That would be my.
Okay. I said middle too. Nico said first. He's like, you can't not start it with that one. I was like, yeah, but just imagine he starts with Confessions instead. It's a swerve.
I think I'm kind of like that idea. I think he's going to go middle as well, Usher. I like will he keep his shirt on? He's got to keep the shirt on. That's what the key to that's what they were saying there.
He'll get fined by CBS for showing his nipples.
Doug picking the Browns I'm just kidding. Picking the Chiefs by 3 over there with it. He's got his Ohio podcast going on with Jordan over there. Jordan, I don't know where you went, but we'll shout you out. Hopefully we'll see you Monday night out there. 31-28 Doug has. That would be a close game. Had a lot of people in here in the comments again this morning. Another successful show talking the gridiron. Jimmy, Sunday morning, like I said, we haven't done too many of these, but it was fun to do another show here as we kind of get into the Super Bowl Sunday. And hey, another Sunday night off for us, a rarity. But we'll be back with you guys for the finale on Monday night. So be sure to come in live with all the hot takes, the comments. We'll obviously talk about the game. Obviously, that will wrap up kind of the whole season, put a bow on that. Talk about some of the key moments from the season. I do want to get into just a little bit of your Hall of Fame talk. What you guys thought of some of the players I got in the Hall of Fame as well. We'll probably get into that a little bit Monday night as well. So looking forward to it, Jimmy. Enjoy the Super Bowl, my friend.
You as well. It should be a national holiday. We'll get it changed at some point. I think that it's coming. Do
you get tomorrow off school?
No, we get this coming weekend off. We get conferences Thursday and then Monday next week off. That's our schedule.
All right. The hardest working man in the business right now, Coach Pilato right now out there wrestling, getting seven of them to state. So congratulations out there to your guys out there that you shouted out earlier. Big deal for sure. Jimmy, it's been quite the ride here on Talking the Gridiron. I always say with you as we get close to the end of the season. And like I said, now we're only one away, my friend, just like the Super Bowl, one away. So I'll see you Monday night. We'll kind of wrap it up there for that one. Good luck with your practices there tomorrow with that. Coach, and we'll see you there with it there. So for Jimmy Pilato, far end of the bench, I'm Daren Fatboy Fadeaway. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. We'll see you next week.